Good afternoon. My name is Charles Collins. Just want to apologize. My voice is not the best. Um, I've been sick, dealing with the flu, but I'm gonna give it my best shot. Um, I'm a health and PE major. If I didn't already say that, I did my research video well, it is research video presentation, but I did my research paper over special education inclusion in a co-taught classroom. You know, um, and I feel like I've wrote a lot of health and PE papers, so I just want to do something different. And it was very interesting. I really enjoyed it. But anyways, um, you know, big takeaways from this paper is you've got to be organized. You have got to have a plan, structure, strategies to meet that, and strategies to take care of all the variables that can come up in between. Um, you know, so that's probably like the biggest thing, no matter what environment, location, situation you're in with a co-taught classroom or trying to implement inclusion uh, in that. It doesn't matter. You have to have a plan, you have to have structure, um, and strategies. And not only as a teacher, but in this particular situation, it is key to having any kind of success. They talked about the location was not as big of a factor as the environment. It talked a lot about, it doesn't matter, where you're at as far as maybe in the school building or whatever, but the environment. What kind of environment? Because kids they can understand that, and they can sense things. So if you have an environment that is super noisy, uh, you know it might cause kids to be emotionally disturbed or overstimulate, become anxious, anxiety, etc. So it really talked about the environment over the location. And then it talked about a really successful co-taught class. And I'm just gonna try to talk about the successful parts because I don't really have a lot of time, and I don't want to leave out what worked over what didn't work. But it really talked about having a co-taught classroom where, like, if you were a parent and you came into the classroom, you could not tell who the teacher was and who the co-teacher was. Like the classroom teacher versus the co-teacher. And how that kind of relates to this topic more so is that's allowing kids, that automatically is creating an inclusive environment. There is no anything but, who's the teacher? That's not the teacher, that's a teacher. That's not the teacher, that's the teacher. And that's giving kids a sense of comfort that might be in special education or struggling in areas, and they have a plan in place for them. That right away is going to give them comfort, confidence. Um, from the comfort, they're going to be more successful because they're going to feel more relaxed in either asking questions or just doing their best. And if they don't do good, they feel comfortable with that because they have an environment that doesn't make them not feel important or as included. So, just overall, though, from this research paper, you have to have structure and you have to have a plan with strategies in place in an environment that lets kids come out of their shell. Thank you.